That's good. Okay. Hello world, it's Gojo4 with you once again. Hope you guys are doing well. I just want to do a little Star Wars Last Jedi review for you guys. I promised I would do that. So I'm a big Star Wars fan. I think it's like almost my favorite thing after Godzilla. I had to go see Last Jedi, and I also did a review of Force Awakens on this channel. You can see that one as well. That was actually my 1K subscriber video. Last Jedi. This has been a controversial one. Everyone's talked about it. Everyone's had their own review of it. There have been defenders, there have been critics. And it depends on what kind of Star Wars fan you are as well. So I'm gonna give my thoughts, so don't get mad at me for my opinions, okay? This is just my opinion. Warning, of course, that there will be spoilers. I'm not gonna do a spoiler-free review. You have to know what happens in the movie to understand the controversy. So if you haven't seen it yet, you know, stop watching now. So with Last Jedi, right, we start out with this big, awesome rebel battle in space with some bombers fighting the First Order, and then they attack this huge First Order ship called, you know, Dreadnought, with a big space gun cannon thing that's firing at their base. And Poe Dameron's like, we gotta take this thing out. And then they use their bombers to attack it. So they take out the Dreadnought, and the Rebel Resistance fleet escapes. But every time they jump to light speed, the First Order is able to track them. They have new hyperspace tracking. They gotta run as far as they can until help shows up, so they can't go to light speed, so they just basically stay outside bombing distance. Meanwhile, Rey goes to visit Luke Skywalker, and Luke Skywalker's like, I don't want to train you, and he's kind of become a crazy old man, hermit thing, living in this old temple. Rey kind of begins to warm Luke up as she learns what happened, but she also begins to learn the Force and why the Force has awakened in her and what her place is in all this. While Luke is scared. He's worried that basically she's going to become Kylo Ren Part 2. Meanwhile, Kylo Ren is hanging out in this big ship of Snoke's, and he's feeling like crap because he doesn't know where Luke Skywalker is, and Rey went to go meet him. Kylo Ren and Rey have like a Force connection thing, so they can talk to each other telepathically through the Force. And basically, Kylo Ren is able to figure out that she's with Luke. Luke tells Rey a story about why Kylo Ren attacked the temple, and that Kylo Ren went crazy, destroyed everything. But Kylo Ren tells him that the truth is Luke freaked out, thought Kylo Ren was going to be dangerous, and while he was sleeping tried to kill him. And all of a sudden Kylo Ren went ballistic and destroyed everything. So Rey already begins to question Luke, and then she feels like she needs to go to Kylo Ren, and she thinks she can turn him to. Rey meets Kylo Ren, and they have this fight against Snoke, but Kylo Ren is still evil, and then they have this big battle on this planet, and they bring in some walkers, and Luke does this cool shit in this fight against Kylo Ren, but turns out he actually wasn't there, which is actually a really cool power. And then the Resistance rebels escape with the Millennium Falcon. Kylo Ren looked like an idiot. Luke vanishes in front of a sunset. That's The Last Jedi in a nutshell. There's also the sequence during the whole Resistance, this whole subplot with Finn and this Resistance rebel fighter named Rose, and they go to this casino on a planet to break into the big Snoke ship so they can stop them from destroying the fleet, and then they end up getting double-crossed by this code breaker. It was interesting, but it really, story-wise, didn't add anything, except that it just kind of, Finn did something while the Resistance fleet was escaping. There was this great sequence where, to escape the First Order, they take the main Resistance ship and they turn it around and they ram the main Snoke ships at light speed, right? And that was really cool, but, and here begin the plot holes, why the hell didn't they just do that with every other Resistance ship that they had? Every single one of those ships can go at light speed. It turns out the whole plan the whole time was to escape to this little planet with their transport ships, And I don't know why they didn't tell Poe Dameron this plan, because meanwhile Poe Dameron tries to launch a mutiny so that they can help Rose and Finn, because he thinks they're going to be able to break into Snoke's ship or something like that. I think the resistance plot of this film was kind of a little weak, honestly, because it was just kind of like they're just running away the whole time, waiting for Rose and Finn to come up with an idea. Then turns out, actually, they were okay because they had a backup plan the whole time, and then they ram Snoke's ship anyway at light speed, and I'm just like, okay. You never really feel like the Resistance is really in danger. Like, they seem to be losing, but they seem to be okay at the same time. Like, Leia almost dies, but then she uses her Force powers to get back into the ship, which is another controversy because people think she looks like Superman when she's flying back to the ship. I mean, we knew that Leia had Force powers. I don't think it's terrible. It is a little silly, that sequence. But just in general, I feel like the Resistance plot in this film is kind of just an afterthought, because the main story really is Rey, Luke, Kylo Ren, and I guess Snoke. And it is the most interesting part of the film, obviously. It's why we came to see this movie. We wanted to see Luke Skywalker, Master Luke, in action. And that's where a lot of the controversy is, that he's a mean old hermit. You know, if you really examine it, it does make a lot of sense, because he had his entire academy destroyed by his nephew, who he tried to kill anyway, so he still feels guilty. He feels like he created Kylo Ren. At the end, there's this great part where Luke shows up before Kylo, and Kylo's like, oh, are you gonna try and convert me to the light side or whatever? And Luke's like, nope, I don't even care. Because Luke realizes at this point it's not his fault how Kylo Ren is now. Kylo Ren dragged himself down this path at this point. And Kylo Ren really wants to kill Luke, and he can't, because Luke is basically a projection in everyone's mind, which is an interesting sequence. But then, of course, Luke dies at the end. So it's like, I guess that ability drained him. I mean, there are a lot of great sequences in this film. I like the big rebel battle at the beginning, especially when Kylo Ren betrays Snoke and Rey and Kylo Ren fight off his guards. There's this cool fight between Captain Phasma and Finn on the ship. The final battle and Luke Skywalker when he shows up, that's awesome. I think what does bug me with Porgs, those are the little bird things you saw in all the trailers, and they just threw them everywhere. They became so overused. The Porgs were the worst thing probably of this movie, just because they were just so annoying, and they weren't funny after 5 minutes. They overused them. When Kylo Ren has his shirt off and he's talking to Rey in their vision, that's hilarious, and that's become a great meme. That was funny. The other thing, too, was the plot holes of the film. It turns out Snoke was connecting Rey and Kylo Ren with the Force. How come then he couldn't sense that Kylo Ren would have killed him? And who the hell was Snoke anyway? That's the biggest plot hole of the movie, I think. It's like, who was Snoke? They don't explain anything about who he was or why he was in charge of the First Order. Okay, and now Kylo Ren is the Supreme Leader. No one challenges his authority as the Supreme Leader. He chokes Hux for 2 seconds. I'm like, Hux, you have an army. Just turn it on him. He's one guy. And I don't know if Kylo Ren knows anything about controlling a galaxy. He just knows how to use a lightsaber. Oh, and Rey's parents are nobody, by the way. That was probably the last big controversy. But that didn't bug me, because that would have been almost too cliche if her parents were someone important. Kylo Ren in one part says it really well. Your parents are nobody. And everybody was like, what? But all in all, I enjoyed it. I think it was a fun Star Wars movie. I do feel like, yes, there's plot holes, and maybe would have liked to see more of Luke. And I've got to admit, really, the thing is with this film is that it's very much a remake of Empire Strikes Back. It's why all the critics say it's the best movie since Empire Strikes Back. It's like, because it is Empire Strikes Back. It's kind of a remake. We've got the Jedi training with the Master. We've got the other guys running away from the Empire. We've got a battle with walkers. Yeah, it's very similar to Empire Strikes Back. Which honestly is fine. But I think some of us, I can tell, are getting a little tired of seeing the same damn movies over and over again, and we want new ideas, right? We had a great original trilogy, and Disney can only seem to think to, well, the original trilogy was great, why don't we just remake it? I still enjoyed Last Jedi. It's entertaining. I think I liked Force Awakens more, but I think Last Jedi has lots of action, lots of drama. It's cool to see Master Luke, especially at the end of the film. And it's great just to see another good Star Wars movie. And I'm excited for the last film of this trilogy to really complete this story and finish these story arcs, and we can finally find out who the hell Snoke was and really just see the true extent of this Rey versus Kylo Ren final battle thing. So anyway, that, guys, is my review of The Last Star Wars, The Last Jedi. Hope you enjoyed it. What are your thoughts on the film? If you got any, leave them below. Alright, guys, I'll see you around. Bye!
I'm